Behind the scenes, away from the flashing lights and roaring crowds, some pastors have traded the true message of the gospel for something far more calculated, carefully scripted performances designed to look like divine power. Today, we're uncovering 12 shocking instances where so-called miracles were exposed for what they really were. And by the time you reach number 1, you may find yourself questioning everything you thought you knew about miracles. Number 12. Lily Java. Prophetess Lily Java is still one of the most talked about and controversial pastors in the world, especially in the United States. Though she was born in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, she relocated to the US in the early 2000s. Today, she's married to Prophet Passion Java, and together they run the Kingdom Embassy Church. Their ministry has expanded quickly, growing into more than 30 branches across the globe. Still, the couple is widely known for their flashy lifestyle and love for extravagance. And that's only one of the many reasons they constantly find themselves in the middle of controversy. In 2023, during a televised prophecy session, she spoke on the phone with an unknown woman who seemed to be seeking spiritual intervention. Lily then declared that they needed to pray immediately because the woman's mother was supposedly on the brink of death, only for the entire prophecy to go completely wrong.
How do I see that then? How did she pass away? Did she fall out?
Once the clip hit the internet, criticism poured in from every direction. In fact, she hasn't been spotted since then performing any supposed miracles on live television. Number 11. Prophet Bushiri. Shepherd Bushiri, popularly known as Major One, is a Malawian preacher who became famous through his church, the Enlightened Christian Gathering based in South Africa. Over time, he attracted massive crowds, mostly because of his luxurious lifestyle, private jets, and countless claims of performing miracles. One of the most unbelievable so-called miracles he showcased happened during a church service, where he claimed he could snap photos in the spirit using his iPad.
The devil tried to attack your child. Do you have children?
Yes, man of God.
How many? Two.
Yes. Go deeper, Papa. Prophesy, man of God.
How do you pronounce this one? Just wait.
That day, he called a man out of the congregation, saying he had received a spiritual vision about him. He then explained that he could barely pronounce children's names, so he would simply capture their spiritual images directly onto his device.
Prophesy, Major One. Go deeper, man of God. Prophesy.
Bushiri insisted he had never seen the pictures before, but if you watched carefully, you could clearly spot him double-tapping his iPad to open his gallery, meaning the photos had already been saved on the device. Once people realized what he had done, many of his members rushed to defend their prophet and their church. But that still didn't keep the truth from spreading. A short while after that, a warrant was released for the arrest of the prophet and his wife on allegations of fraud and money laundering, but they immediately fled the country and their whereabouts are currently unknown. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 99% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. Thank you so much. Now back to the video. Number 10. Alf Lukau. Prophet Alf Lukau's name is hardly unfamiliar across Africa. He is a South African pastor and the founder of Alleluia Ministries International. He came into the spotlight in 2019 when a viral video surfaced showing him supposedly bringing a man back to life during a church service. In the clip, Lukau is seen shouting at a man lying in a coffin to rise up, who then suddenly sits up as though he had just been resurrected. When it first happened, the scene left people either stunned or completely disgusted, and from the video alone, it was pretty clear the man was already breathing long before the staged miracle took place. Not long after, people who actually knew the so-called dead man started speaking out, including his employer. But he worked well and he was a nice guy, and it was an absolute shock to see him in the video and to recognize him with his mouth wide open. Eventually, Lukau confessed to the miracle, but he has faced even more legal troubles since then. Number 9. Pastor Paul Sanyangore. Some pastors will go to extraordinary lengths to convince their congregation they have a direct connection to God, but few have ever taken it quite as literally as Pastor Paul Sanyangore of Victory World International Ministries in Harare, Zimbabwe. In March 2017, during a live church service, Sanyangore pulled out his mobile phone, held it to his ear, and claimed to be calling heaven directly.
Hello? Yes, Father! Is this heaven? Yes, Father! Is it heaven? Yes, Father!
He summoned a woman from the crowd, had her kneel before him, and began relaying what God was supposedly telling him, that she had 2 children, one epileptic and one asthmatic, currently in Bulawayo.
We should pray for your children. 2 of them. He is saying the other one is epileptic.
When the woman confirmed the details, the crowd erupted. The video went viral overnight. But investigators had been watching Sanyangore for over a year. Just 12 months earlier, his walking on water miracle had been exposed as a transparent platform hidden beneath the water's surface. When pressed about the phone call, Sanyangore eventually admitted the phone was a faith booster, not a literal line to heaven. The miracles were never real. Only the deception was. Number 8. Kenneth Copeland. When the COVID-19 pandemic swept the world in early 2020, millions of people turned to their faith for comfort. But few responses from the religious community drew more attention or more disbelief than what Kenneth Copeland broadcast on April 3, 2020. Copeland, one of America's wealthiest televangelists with a reported net worth of around $300 million, stood before an empty church and pointed directly into the camera.
COVID-19!
COVID-19!
Burn!
He declared a supernatural heat wave, drew in a long breath, and blew forcefully toward the lens, shouting that COVID-19 was destroyed forever by the wind of God.
I execute judgment on you, Satan, you destroyer, you killer, you get out, you break your power, you get off this nation.
He further declared that he will execute the judgment on COVID-19. Then, in the middle of his own declaration, he laughed.
I blow the wind of God,
The wind of God
on you.
on you.
You are destroyed forever.
The clip spread across the world within hours, drawing ridicule from viewers who struggled to separate the performance from the reality unfolding outside hospitals overwhelmed, families separated, and a death toll rising daily. COVID-19 did not stop. It went on to kill over 1 million Americans. Copeland continued broadcasting. He continued fundraising, and the wind, as it turned out, changed nothing. Number 7. Pastor Lethabo Rabalago. Most pastors use oil or water when they pray for healing. Pastor Lethabo Rabalago of the Mount Zion General Assembly in Limpopo, South Africa, had a different idea entirely. In November 2016, photographs and videos posted directly to the church's own Facebook page showed Rabalago spraying Doom, a commercial household insecticide, directly into the faces and eyes of his congregation, declaring it would heal cancer, HIV, and a range of other serious illnesses. When interviewed by South African television network ENCA, Rabalago stated that God had personally told him to use Doom and that he had already healed countless people using it.
Now, what would you say to people who are saying that this is an unconventional method of healing people?
I don't know. If they are not at my level, I just pray that God will help them to understand whatever that is happening.
Doom manufacturer Tiger Brands described the practice as alarming and extremely concerning, making clear that spraying their product onto human faces was unsafe under any circumstances. A court later found Rabalago guilty of 5 charges of grievous assault and contravening chemicals laws, sentencing him to 4 years in prison or a fine. The congregation believed, the courts did not. Number 6. Pastor Paseka Motsoeneng. Most pastors claim a connection to God, but Pastor Pasika Motsoneg, also known as Prophet Mboro, claimed something considerably more specific. South African prophet Mboro, founder of the Incredible Happenings Ministries, announced during an Easter Sunday service in Johannesburg that he had physically ascended to heaven and returned the same day.
After the story of this fake pic went viral, the pastor was pressured to post the real picture.
His spokesperson confirmed he had taken photographs of heaven on his Samsung Galaxy smartphone and that copies were available for 5,000 Rand each, sent directly via WhatsApp.
Claims that he visited God. The pastor is now selling photos of himself in heaven. Photos can be purchased at the Incredible Happenings Church in Kettelham. The photos are being sold for 5,000 Rand each.
The internet reacted immediately, and not with awe. South Africa's Commission for the Promotion and Protection of Cultural, Religious, and Linguistic Communities announced it would file criminal charges against Mboro for fraud and issued a subpoena demanding the photographs as evidence. Facing legal pressure, Mboro's story began to collapse. He announced the phone had gone missing, then suggested one of the boys washing his car had stolen it. He then denied the entire incident, stating he could not have gone to heaven because he had not yet died. The photos never appeared. The money, however, was already gone. Number 5. Chris Okafor. The ever-controversial Pastor Chris, founder of the Mountain of Liberation and Miracle Ministry in Nigeria, was exposed for yet another fake miracle. A video of his made the rounds online, showing him carrying out a dramatic healing on a woman with a paralyzed arm.
Give me the ball. Give me the ball. Yes. Give me the ball. Yes.
This woman was later revealed to be Bose. In this clip, filmed in Okapor's church, he claimed that he could heal her, and the arm actually seemed to straighten right there during the service. But it didn't take long before it was discovered that the same woman had been healed by other pastors in almost identical ways across several churches in Nigeria. Bose eventually confessed to being part of a setup where she would straighten the arm herself and make it appear like a miracle in exchange for money.
Other stage miracles in other churches. She confessed that poverty led her to participate in these stage miracles, and she was arrested by the police after an investigation revealed.
According to her, another woman arranged for her to visit multiple churches to stage these fake healings. And after appearing in Okapor's church, Bose received around $300 as payment for participating in the false miracle. Okafor, however, denied any involvement in fraud. He claimed that the money Bose collected wasn't payment for a staged healing, but simply financial assistance meant to help her start afresh. He also maintained that the healing had truly happened and that Bose's later relapse was the result of spiritual attacks. Today, Okafor's church continues to thrive and grow like nothing ever happened. Number 4. Peter Popoff. Peter Popoff. Peter Popoff is a classic example of how miracles can be manufactured and how easily people can be swayed in the name of religion. Back in the 1980s, he was running huge faith-healing revivals where he'd call out people in the audience by name, talk about their illnesses, and act as if God was speaking through him, only that it wasn't divine revelation in any way. It was all a scam. What he did was, before services, Popoff's team would collect prayer cards from attendees. These cards had names, addresses, ailments, and all sorts of personal information. Behind the scenes, his wife Elizabeth would read this information into a radio transmitter, and Popoff had a tiny receiver hidden in his ear. As details came in, he'd mention their names and ailments out loud, like they'd just come to him from God.
This arthritis run out of your body.
But Randy took a scanner to some of Popoff's crusades.
But investigators eventually exposed them. They recorded Elizabeth calling to Peter through the earpiece, feeding him information, and then juxtaposed that secretly recorded audio with video of his healing performances. After that exposure, his ministry took a massive hit, and by 1987, he filed for bankruptcy. But guess what? Popoff reappeared. He came back later selling miracle spring water on TV infomercials, promising healing and financial miracles. As of now, Popoff is still alive and making money as a preacher.
Say it again.
But this isn't the first time Popoff's been on television.
Number 3. Benny Hinn. Benny Hinn has filled stadiums across the world for decades, claiming to heal blindness, cancer, AIDS, deafness, and severe physical injury through the power of God. His miracle crusades attracted hundreds of thousands and were broadcast in more than 200 countries.
Holy Spirit, place a price on the gospel.
The problem is it's just like a Ponzi scheme. The only guy getting rich.
But in November 2004, CBC's investigative program, The Fifth Estate, sent journalists with hidden cameras to one of Hinn's Canadian services, and what they found directly contradicted everything he had claimed on stage. The most desperate attendees, people in wheelchairs, the visibly disabled, those with obvious physical conditions, were being quietly stopped at the door by Hinn's staff and turned back to their seats before they could reach the stage. They would never be invited forward. At one service, a mother carrying her daughter who had muscular dystrophy was stopped by screeners who asked if the child had already been healed. When the mother said no, they were sent away. The people who made it onto the stage were those whose conditions were less visible and easier to fake. Not a single miracle claimed at a Hinn crusade has ever been medically verified. Number 2, TB Joshua. TB Joshua was one of the most globally celebrated pastors of the 21st century. His synagogue Church of All Nations in Lagos, Nigeria, attracted millions of followers worldwide, and his YouTube channel was the most watched Christian ministry on the platform before it was suspended.
The Holy Spirit.
With every hit, push,
Right now,
and wave of his hand.
His so-called miracle healings, people walking out of wheelchairs, the blind seeing, wounds visibly closing, were filmed and distributed across the world on VHS tapes and satellite television. But in January 2024, the BBC released a 3-part documentary titled Disciples: The Cult of TB Joshua, built from more than 2 years of investigation and the testimonies of over 30 church insiders.
Nobody would knowingly join a cult. It will just take you.
What the investigation uncovered was methodical fraud on an extraordinary scale. A secret unit inside the church, called the Emergency Department, screened all potential miracle recipients, turned away anyone with a serious condition like cancer, and coached those selected to exaggerate their symptoms before their supposed healing took place. Healthy people were forced into wheelchairs and told they would not be prayed for unless they arrived unable to walk. Video editors confirmed that before and after footage of healings was shot months apart and edited to appear instantaneous. TB Joshua died in 2021 and cannot be prosecuted. His church denied all allegations. Number 1. Robert Tilton. Robert Tilton became one of the most controversial televangelists of the 1990s after a major investigative report exposed how his massive prosperity ministry operated behind the scenes. At the height of his influence, Tilton ran widely broadcast miracle prayer programs across the United States. On screen, he appeared intensely emotional, often pacing the stage, speaking in tongues, and claiming he was receiving direct revelations from God while praying over thousands of letters sent in by viewers.
That is God penetrating your heart. It's burning on the inside of you, and you need to make a vow of faith of $1,000. Oh, Bob, couldn't you say 25? No!
These letters typically contained personal struggles, illness reports, and urgent financial pleas, along with monetary donations meant to activate prayer. In return, his ministry would send out prayer cloths, which were presented as spiritually charged objects capable of bringing healing, financial breakthroughs, and divine intervention. The messaging was powerful, especially for vulnerable viewers who believed they were entering a direct spiritual exchange with the televangelist. However, everything changed after an undercover investigation by ABC's Primetime Live.
Science possibility, a potential breakthrough. As I found out firsthand, there may be a way to erase years, at least inside my body. Granted, it's down the road, but some scientists are wondering if a new pill I took
reporters infiltrated the operation and documented what was happening behind the scenes. According to the investigation, large volumes of incoming mail were not being individually prayed over as viewers were led to believe. Instead, many letters were allegedly discarded in bulk without being opened, while financial donations were processed and prioritized separately. The investigation also suggested that the emotional prayers broadcast on television were not connected to any personal interaction with the letters being sent in, raising serious questions about whether the spiritual claims matched the actual ministry practices.
Some of you watching us being rebroadcast across America and around the world. My dream vision.
When the findings were aired publicly, the reaction was immediate and explosive. Viewers felt betrayed, critics accused the ministry of emotional and financial manipulation, and regulatory scrutiny followed. Lawsuits emerged, donations collapsed, and Tilton's once powerful television ministry rapidly disintegrated under the weight of public backlash. Over time, his case became one of the most cited examples in discussions about televangelism accountability, media influence, and religion. Even today, the prayer cloth scandal remains a reference point whenever televised miracles and donation-driven ministries are examined critically. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss more of our content. See you in our next video. Bye.